Welcome to Stories Behind the Objects, where we explore the history behind a Museum of the Rockies artifact in 5 minutes or less. Many people's travel plans were interrupted or altered this summer, so this week we're looking at an artifact that takes us on a virtual road trip through the West. This souvenir photo album follows the adventures of 5 friends from Coralville, Iowa, as they take a 2-week road trip through the West. Louise Kinzinger and her friends Wallace, Marvin, Elma, and Susan set out from Iowa on July 30th, 1959. As they traveled, Louise documented their trip in this album. MOR accepted this artifact for the permanent collection as part of our efforts to document the tourist experience in the West and in Yellowstone. So let's follow along and explore the West together with Louise's words to guide us. Throughout the video, you'll see modern photos alongside Louise's original pictures. Based on the written entries in the album, we know that our intrepid travelers followed the general route you see here. They started in Coralville, Iowa, and made it to Fargo, North Dakota on their first day. From Fargo, the group drove through Theodore Roosevelt National Park, where they stopped to see the prairie dogs, and then went on to Wolf Point, Montana for the night. From Wolf Point, they continued west and entered Glacier National Park through the east entrance at St. Mary. In Glacier, the group saw all the highlights, including the Weeping Wall on Going to the Sun Road. The Weeping Wall is a 100-foot stretch of rock wall where spring-fed water veins spill onto the road. After one night in Glacier, the group stopped by Lake McDonald on their way out of the park. Louise writes, "So pretty. Took a drive by Lake McDonald. Pictures here." As they headed south to Yellowstone, the group stopped in Hungry Horse, Kalispell, Polson, and Helena, Montana before arriving at the Old Faithful Inn. Upon entering Yellowstone, Louise writes, "Soon saw our first bear. Didn't take long to see 18 more. Soon came to Old Faithful Geyser." Taking blurry pictures of animals is a time-honored tourist tradition in Yellowstone. The group of 5 spent the next 6 days taking in the sights in Yellowstone. On day 1, they headed on a large driving loop that took them to the lower falls of the Yellowstone, which they viewed from Artist Point. They even took the infamous Uncle Tom's Trail staircase down to view the falls. In Louise's words, stopped at Artist Point, went down 493 steps to view the lower falls. Was that ever a climb back? Then to Tower Falls, another climb to the foot of the falls. Tower Fall is a 132-foot waterfall. In 1871, it was captured in a painting by Thomas Moran, and that painting helped convince Congress to establish the national park. Over the coming days, the tourists continued exploring Yellowstone, experiencing sights such as the terraces at Mammoth Hot Springs. You can see some of the party here, taking in the views of Minerva Hot Spring at Mammoth. They even made time for a trip through the south entrance to quickly visit Grand Teton National Park. Along the way, they viewed the Tetons from a roadside overlook at Jackson Lake. 56 years later, I took the exact same picture, so I guess some things really don't change. According to Louise, it only cost $1 to enter Grand Teton National Park. And I guess some things really do change. Before they left Yellowstone, the group had the same surprising experience that many tourists still have today, the shock of cold weather in the middle of summer. Louise writes, 38 degrees this morning. Turned in our keys, walked around the geyser, and saw Old Faithful go off once more. After leaving Yellowstone, the 5 travelers spent time in Cody, Wyoming, and Spearfish, South Dakota before heading for home. In their 2-week trip, they saw 5 national parks, 1 national monument, 1 national memorial, several national forests, drove 648 miles on their biggest day, and, according to Louise's journal, stopped for Dairy Queen multiple times. And after 2 weeks spent in a small sedan together, Louise, Marvin, Wallace, Elma, and Susan still managed to arrive home as friends.